to believe, but Wien Hauptbahnhof, Vienna's central railway station, has been open for 10 years now. As one of Europe's most modern railway stations, it has become a key link in connecting cities across Austria and the rest of Europe. But after 10 years, I think it's time to reflect. How has Vienna benefited from this train station? But also, what things could have been done better in hindsight? Let's find out as I take you on a tour around Wien Hauptbahnhof. Wien Hauptbahnhof, Vienna's central railway station, lies around 3 kilometers south of the city centre. With over 1,080 trains and 120,000 passengers every day, it is the busiest railway station in the whole of Austria. The station we see today opened in 2014, replacing the old station Wien Südbahnhof. As opposed to Hauptbahnhof, the old Südbahnhof consisted of two separate terminus stations. One was served by southbound trains, while the other handled trains heading north and east. Meanwhile, trains running towards the west departed from a totally different station, Wien Westbahnhof. This fragmented station layout that existed in Vienna until 2014 wasn't very practical. Anyone wanting to travel beyond Vienna always had to change trains. However, this arrangement mainly had historical reasons. In the 19th century, during the Habsburg monarchy, when most of Vienna's train stations were originally built, travel behaviour was very different than it was today. As Vienna was the main capital of this vast empire, train stations were built to bring people to the capital, not through it. Vienna was the final destination for most travellers, hence there was no need for a through train station. During the Second World War, the original 19th century buildings of Wien Südbahnhof were sadly destroyed due to bombing. The second building of Wien Südbahnhof was opened in 1956. Its architecture was a lot more functional than the previous buildings, and even though it served Vienna for many years, it wasn't Vienna's most popular train station. Over the years, the station building became run down and outdated, and modernisation efforts were kept to a minimum. With the fall of the Iron Curtain during the 1990s, Vienna, which had once been at the edge of Europe, suddenly found itself in the centre of Europe. With many more people travelling through Vienna than ever before, it became clear that Vienna needs a modern, unified hub where train services can depart in all directions. This is when the idea of the new Wien Hauptbahnhof station started to take shape. Later in the video, we will explore how the plans for this new train station evolved, the major milestones during the construction of this project, and the lasting impact it had on railway travel in Austria and the rest of Europe. But first, let's take a look at the railway station. One of the first things you're going to see when you come into the Hauptbahnhof is this lovely old lion statue that sits here proudly next to the main entrance of the train station. This old lion statue actually used to sit on the old Wien Südbahnhof station, the really old one from the 19th century. As a matter of fact, there actually used to be 8 of these lions. However, 6 lion statues were destroyed during the bombing of the train station in the Second World War. The remaining 2 have been preserved, with one sitting in the Schlosspark Laxenburg south of Vienna, and the second one placed near the entrance of Wien Hauptbahnhof. Below the statue, there's even a QR code you can scan, which will lead you to the Wikipedia page, and you can find out more about this lion statue. The station itself has a modern and futuristic vibe, with many glass and steel elements. While it might not have the same kind of charm as some historic railway stations, it is definitely an attractive gateway to the city of Vienna. In the main hall, you will find a large departure board, a ticket office from the ÖBB and a smaller one from RegioJet, as well as a large food court with a wide variety of restaurants. One of the downsides of the old Wien Südbahnhof station was that it only had a very basic supply of facilities like these. Therefore, the new Hauptbahnhof was planned as a more multifunctional complex, with a generous supply of shops, takeaways and restaurants, stretching over 2 levels. This not only offers shopping opportunities for people for the local area, but also allows travellers to buy any essential items they need before catching their train, and also some less essential items, if that is what you prefer. Some critics have said that Wien Hauptbahnhof takes on too much the identity of a shopping mall, and its function as a train station is somewhat overshadowed by this.
656 to Vienna International Airport.
Downstairs on level 2, you find an artwork showing some silhouettes of Vienna's original train stations from the 19th century. Even though I've been to Wien Hauptbahnhof so many times, I was actually never aware that this artwork here existed. It's basically down on level 2 when you walk towards the underground, but instead of continuing on towards the underground, you actually make a U-turn and then walk down towards the garage. While Wien Hauptbahnhof has several public transport links, the most important service if you are travelling towards the city centre is the underground line U1. Even though the U1 is the most important connection, it is also the one that is furthest away from the train station itself, with a roughly 500-metre walk from the main platforms. Not a problem if you're young and fit like me, but for elderly or disabled people, the long walking distance is not exactly ideal. The connection to Vienna's public transport system is generally something that has often been criticised about this train station. Unlike other train stations in Vienna like Westbahnhof, Praterstern or Wien Mitte, Hauptbahnhof has only one underground line, which as a result can get very crowded. As a matter of fact, there were once plans to extend the U2 down to Hauptbahnhof. However, the line would have only served the urban development area south of the station, missing the station itself. To close this gap, there were even ideas once to build a cable car that would connect the train station to the U2. A rather bizarre proposal in my opinion, which thankfully never became a reality. Now, in one of my recent videos, I visited the epic train station in Utrecht in the Netherlands, which has the largest bicycle garage in the entire world, with over 12,500 bicycle spaces. And that got me thinking, how many bicycle spaces does Wien Hauptbahnhof actually have? Besides bicycle spaces that are located outside the station, Wien Hauptbahnhof also has an indoor bicycle garage for around 760 bicycles. The Radstation, as it is called, also offers bicycle repair services and a bicycle shop. However, the bicycle garage only has rather limited opening hours, especially during the winter months. When I went there on a Saturday afternoon, the bicycle garage was shut, something you could never imagine in Utrecht. I mean, this place is nice, but it by no means meets the standards that you find at Utrecht Central Station. Next, let's head upstairs and take a look at the most important part of the train station, the platforms. Wien Hauptbahnhof's main platforms are covered by an impressive diamond-shaped roof structure. The diamonds are offset from each other on every other platform, enabling natural light to shine in through the gaps. The newly constructed part of the station has 10 platforms in total, although each platform can handle up to 2 trains at once. However, did you know that back in the 1990s, when the first plans for this train station were made, they actually proposed a totally different track layout to the one they currently have? When you think of Vienna's Hauptbahnhof today, it's hard to imagine that the original plans for this transport hub were actually quite different. The first proposed design from 1994 suggested that the Südbahnhof, with its 2 terminus stations, would remain as it is, and the new Hauptbahnhof as a through station would only be an addition to it. The new part of the station would consist of 4 overground platforms intended for through travelling international trains, as well as 4 underground platforms below to establish some new through running S-Bahn services. Meanwhile, the domestic, regional and intercity trains would continue to terminate at Wien Südbahnhof. However, planning conditions evolved, leading to the decision to consolidate all train services into one larger through train station and close the old Südbahnhof permanently. This way, the new Hauptbahnhof could be a catalyst for urban development, as the space around the old Südbahnhof could be redeveloped into a modern mixed-use development district. Hence, the Hauptbahnhof would be more than just a train station. It was a chance to improve the whole neighbourhood and boost the area's appeal. The new Hauptbahnhof was also part of a larger vision to enhance rail connections across Austria, including direct intercity trains from Linz, Salzburg and Graz to Vienna International Airport, reducing the need for domestic flights within Austria. In 2003, the national government, the city of Vienna and the Austrian Federal Railways formalised the project with a letter of intent. Following planning and permitting processes, the main construction work started in 2009. On the 12th of December of that year, the very last train departed from Wien Südbahnhof before the station was shut down and demolished. During the construction of the new train station, a temporary wooden tower called the Panorama was opened, offering visitors the opportunity to inform themselves about this major project and experience some panoramic views over the massive construction site. The new Hauptbahnhof was built in multiple phases. The first 4 platforms opened in 2012, however, it took another 2 years until the remaining platforms and the shopping centre were completed. In 2015, the train sidings east of the station were finalised, which enabled intercity trains from the west to be rerouted to Hauptbahnhof as well. And so, in 2015, the new Hauptbahnhof could finally unlock its full potential, offering train connections in all directions from one central train station. Besides being very useful for travellers, the new Hauptbahnhof is also a real paradise for train spotters, with many international rolling stock from other European countries serving this station. Another distinctive feature of Wien Hauptbahnhof is that it is the station in Europe with the highest number of night trains, with 16 night train connections departing the train station every night. No other European capital has as many night trains as Vienna has. However, in hindsight, not everything about the new train station is great. One major pinch point is the limited capacity, not just in terms of the number of platforms, which has often been considered to be too low, but also in terms of the storage facilities for the trains outside the station. Already today, many train services run empty towards Westbahnhof because there is simply not enough space to park them directly near Hauptbahnhof. And if passenger numbers rise significantly in the future, the station has little room for expansion. Much of the surrounding land was sold to private investors who build luxury hotels and apartments right next to the station. If we want more people to travel by train instead of using the car or the aeroplane, was it short-sighted to block this opportunity for future growth? Should Wien Hauptbahnhof been have planned on a larger scale? And if so, how many platforms should it have had? Let me know what you think in the comment section.
Achtung! Eine Information für Fahrgäste der Westbahnstrecke. Zwischen Amstetten und Aschbach können derzeit keine Züge fahren.
Now, I have told you a lot about this train station, but what do other people who use this train station actually feel about it? I asked a few people earlier on today, and this is what they had to say about it.
That's a good question. I know the Hauptbahnhof since I'm on the world. I like it. I mean, I like the past, I like the future. I think, the design is different, but I think useful, and I like the whole construction.
My impression about the station is like really good. It's super big. It feels nice. It has the feeling like the airport. So you walk in, you have plenty of place there, and yeah, it's really nice. It's like the modern style now.
I don't know, what can I say actually? I've been here maybe 30 years ago. It's been, if I remember well, was Südbahnhof station, and it's such a big change, of course. I like it. Something modern, as lots of things in Vienna. I really enjoy it.
As we can see, Wien Hauptbahnhof leaves a welcoming impression not just for long-time locals, but also for tourists visiting the city for the first time. Even though the station has its flaws, it's also important to recognise what a major achievement it has been. For me, the construction of Wien Hauptbahnhof was part of my growing up. In my childhood years, I remember visiting the Panorama Tower with my grandmother and observing the incredible progress of the construction site over the years. Now, a decade later, it's hard to believe how much time has passed. This station has become a part of Vienna's identity, and meanwhile, it is hard to imagine a Vienna without its central train station.